our Earth. Along with millions of other animals, plants, and microorganisms, we lived on this Earth. We arrived on this Earth about 1 lakh years ago. Human beings have been trying to change themselves and their surroundings. Our reckless exploitation of the Earth has meant the destruction of forests, rivers, hills, etc., which leads to the environmental crisis like global warming and poisoning of our soils, air, and water. Now, we have to create a new understanding of the Earth. Here, we will learn about the Earth as a large interconnected system. Initially, people thought that the Earth was in the center of the universe. The stars that remain fixed, and the sun, the moon, and the planets which are moving across the sky. Why people are eager to know about the secrets of the universe? Initially, people thought that Earth was firm and all other like stars, etc., moves around the Earth. They also thought that the Earth, the sun, and the stars have been like this for a long time, and this will happen forever without any change. But scientists came up with a new understanding about 500 years ago. They said that the Earth is not in the middle of everything. Actually, the Earth is moving around the sun. The sun itself is also moving, and the countless stars which shines in the sky are actually so many suns. They have many years of lifetime. After that, the stars grow old and even die. Knowledge of Earth's location in the universe has been shaped by 400 years of telescopic observations and has expanded radically in the last century. Initially, Earth was believed to be the center of universe, which consisted only of those planets visible with the naked eyes. Stars are actually part of larger groups called galaxies. There are probably more than 170 billion galaxies in the universe. Earth as a planetary body, the idea of planets has evolved over its history of the divine wandering stars. Like these planets, the Earth rotates on its own axis and goes around the sun in a definite orbit, which is called as the path of the Earth around the sun. Earth's orbit, which consists of 3 parts: a circular path, an elongated oval path, a scaled oval path. Earth's orbit is the motion of the Earth around the sun. Approximating Earth orbit around the sun to the circular, the distance Earth travels in 1 year is roughly 940 million kilometers. The travel of the Earth around the sun causes the seasons like summer and winter. Actually, the energy received by different parts of the Earth from sun and some other factors are also cause the formation of season on the Earth. Below, we are giving some factors for the formation of seasons: daily rotation of the Earth on its axis, monthly movement of the moon around the Earth, rotation of the sun on its axis, revolution of the Earth around the sun, tilt of Earth's axis of rotation to its orbital plane, spherical shape of the Earth, Earth's distance from sun, during the annual revolution. Do you know English word earth meaning ground, soil, dry land? Indian languages have multiple words from earth. Sanskrit terms include Bhumi, Prithvi, Dharani, Avani, etc. Many Indian languages use variations of these Sanskrit words. The evolution of the earth. Most scientists are of the view that Earth began to form around 4.5 billion years ago. The history of the Earth concerns the development of the present day. Nearly all branches of natural science have contributed to the understanding of the main events of the Earth's past. The age of the Earth is approximately 1/3 of the age of the universe. An immense amount of biological and geographical change has occurred in that time span. Earth formed around 4.54 billion years ago by accretion from the solar nebula. Volcanic outgazing probably created the primordial atmosphere, but it contained almost no oxygen and would have been toxic to humans and most modern life. Much of the earth was molten because of extreme volcanism and frequent collision with other bodies. One very large collision is thought to have been responsible for tilting the earth at an angle and forming the moon. Over time, the planet cooled and formed a solid crust, allowing liquid water to exist on the surface. For perhaps 1/2 of the long span of Earth's history, the planet Earth remained lifeless. Actually, the first life appeared in the oceans, then gradually evolved into diverse planets and animals, including human beings, over millions of years. Internal structure of the Earth. The interior structure of the Earth is layered in spherical shells like an onion. While the formation of the Earth was too hot that it was in hot liquid form with some different particles. After some time, the heavier particles moved to the bottom and formed the part of the molten core, while the lighter substances rose to the surface and cooled. Slowly, an upper crust of lighter and cooler materials formed covering the molten interior. Earth has an outer silicate solid crust, a highly viscous mantle, and core which can be divided into two sublayers, that is, outer core and inner core. The outermost part of the Earth is called as crust. The crust of the Earth is composed of a variety of igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. The thickness of this layer is around 30 to 100 kilometers. The crust is underlain by the mantle. The temperature of the crust increases with depth. Mantle. Mantle is a part of a terrestrial planet or other rocky body large enough to have differentiation by density. It is a layer between crust and outer core. Mantle is around 100 to 2,900 kilometers in thickness. It encloses the hot core rich in iron and nickel, which occupies about 15% of the Earth's volume. In some places under the ocean, the mantle is actually exposed on the surface of the Earth. core. Actually, the average density of Earth is 5,550 kilograms per meter square. Since the average density of surface material is only around 3,000 kilograms per meter square, we must conclude that the denser material exists with the Earth's core. It has solid inner core and a liquid outer core. Inner core was discovered in 1936 by Inge Lehmann and is generally believed to be composed primarily iron and some nickel. Earth's inner core is Earth's innermost part. Its thickness is around 5,100 to 6,376 kilometers. It mostly consists of iron compounds and heavy substances like gold. Matters from deep inside the mantle, broken throughout volcanoes and fissures on ocean floors, and cools down to form the Earth's crust. The Earth parts in many regions. The Earth's crust enters into the mantle and once again becomes molten. This phenomenon of formation and destruction of the crust explains that our Earth is still very active. The liquid outer core surrounds the inner core and is believed to be composed of iron mixed with nickel. Do you know? The crust forms only 1% of the volume of the Earth. 16% consists of the mantle and 83% makes the core. The thickness of the crust is just about the thickness of the shell of an egg. If we assume that the size of the Earth is equal to the size of an egg, movements of the Earth's crust, the Earth's continents have been joined together and have moved away from each other at different times in the Earth's history. This theory was first proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912. While his general idea of continental movement eventually became widely accepted, he postulated a massive supercontinent which he called Pangea as having existed 220 million years ago and then breaking apart into several large sections, and the parts are begun to move away from one another. Some continents are looking like two pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Figure shows the stages of continental drift. Wegener hypothesized that the supercontinent of Pangea broke up to form smaller continents called Laurentia and Gondwana land. It took millions of years for the continents to reach the present shapes and positions on the globe. The Earth's grid system. A grid system allows the location of a point on the map. Earth has a geographical grid. It is important to learn about this grid so that we can understand globes. We can find this grid on flat maps and on globe. Now, we will use atlas to find latitude and longitude of places. Example: in atlas, the different places are listed alphabetically like dictionary. place name Kobe, country name Japan, page number 60, latitude 34.41 N, longitude 135.12 E. In Atlas, we find the information like this. Actually, grid is a pattern of horizontal and vertical lines. These lines intersect at coordinates. Geographers use these coordinates to locate places on Earth. In the middle of the Earth, one horizontal circle that goes around the Earth exactly at equal distance from the North and South poles is called the equator. It divides the Earth into two equal parts. The angle of the equator is 0 degree latitude. These lines show us the width of the map. Latitude is a geographic coordinate that specifies the north-south positions of a point on the Earth's surface. It is an angle which ranges from 0 degree at the equator to 90 degrees at the poles. Lines of constant latitude or parallels run east-west at circles parallel to the equator. Latitude is used together with longitude to specify the precise location of features on the surface of the Earth. It is measured in degrees, minutes, and seconds or decimal degree, north or south of the equator as shown in figure. There is no latitude less than 0 degrees nor greater than 90 degrees. For equator, there is no north or south designation. Remaining must be designated with direction N for north or S for south. Equator is the largest among all the latitudes. The latitude values gradually decreases towards either sides of the poles. At the poles, the 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south are just points, not circles. The half of Earth between the equator and the North Pole is called the Northern Hemisphere. Actually, hemi means half. Hemisphere means half a sphere. Similarly, the half that is between the equator and the South Pole is called Southern Hemisphere. There are nearly 180 latitudes from one pole to the other pole. Longitudes. Longitude is a geographical coordinates that specifies east-west positions of a point on the Earth's surface. Longitudes show us the length or height of a map. Longitudes are semicircles connecting pole to pole. Every longitude cuts across every latitude. The longitude which passes through the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, England, was intended to establish the position of 0 degrees longitude, called the prime meridian, 0 degree meridian, or Greenwich meridian. The longitude of other places was to be measured as the angle east or west from the prime meridian, ranging from 0 degree to 180 degree going east, which are east longitudes, and 0 degree to 180 degree going west, which are west longitudes. For east longitudes, it can be designated as 28 degrees east for 28 degrees. Similarly, for west latitudes, it can be designated as 28 degree west, just like latitudes, longitudes can also be divided into minutes and seconds. The 180 degree longitude is directly opposite to 0 degree longitude is called the anti-meridian. Just like latitudes, the east longitudes from the eastern hemisphere and the west longitude from the western hemisphere. Actually, the latitudes and longitudes are just imaginary lines. Do you know? Latitudes are also called parallels because they are parallel to each other simply. Longitudes are also called meridians. We get meridian from the Latin word meridianus, meaning moon. That is when the sun is directly overhead at a given longitude. So, longitudes are related to time. Longitudes and the question of time. The time in India is 12 p.m. but in USA, the time is 12 a.m. Some countries use more than one. Most countries pick a time zone so that 12 noon is when the sun is highest in the sky most of the time. Also, they define their time zone as some number of hours before or after the standard time at Greenwich. A few countries add a half an hour and one adds 45 minutes. 15 degrees of longitude equals to 1 hour. It takes 4 minutes for the sun's position to move 1 degree of longitude. The world is divided into 24 time zones starting from the Greenwich meridian going east and west. The difference between one time zone and the next is 1 hour. As you go east from Greenwich meridian, you add time. As you go west of the Greenwich meridian, you subtract time. Time and travel. We know that the earth rotates on its axis, and longitudes and latitudes are just imaginary lines. Hence, there is a difference in the time as you travel from east to west or vice versa. When you are traveling east to west, you gain time of 4 minutes as you cross every longitude. But if you are traveling from west to east, you lose 4 minutes as you cross every longitude. In short, we can write as EGA, that is, east gain add, and WLS, that is, west lost subtract. In India, we follow IST, that is, Indian Standard Time. Do you know? 82 degrees, 30 degrees, eastern longitude is taken as standard meridian of India and serves as the Indian Standard Time. The exact difference between Greenwich and IST is 5.5 hours.